Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham Makar Kudash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone that rule well. Peace, salutations, and blessings be unto the hopeful elect, pushing his truth in sincerity throughout the four corners of the globe, in the sincere hopes of being delivered in these last days. All right. Now, as you can see here on the screen, I'm on the Mastercard.com website. Now, Mastercard is, if I'm not mistaken, the second most dominant money transfer enterprise, that exists upon the earth. And I believe number one is Visa. So if you have a credit or a debit card, 9 times out of 10, the carrier, is going to be Mastercard or Visa, mass majority of the time. Now, obviously, I'm sure there's other, enterprises out there, but the most popular, according to my knowledge, is Visa and Mastercard. All right. And they have a very dominant presence, in the market. So when you see, particular companies coming up with this community pass system, which is dedicated to, digital identity and simplifying the process of those in, rural areas and less fortunate, places upon the earth, to facilitate them to digitize themselves with an online presence so they can interact, with various different, companies and enterprises to be visible. It's a very serious thing. And of course, it's going to lead to the MOTB, the Revelations 13 and 16. All right. These are the gradual steps that are being made to solidify and allow this New World Order system to breathe upon the earth. All right. Now it says here, driving sustainable, scalable social impact. Now it says almost half of the world today struggle to meet their basic needs, as the rest of the world is quickly digitizing. And you know what? Some years ago, I done a video in regards to Visa, and they also have, a similar thing going on, where they're having a huge effort to digitize, their systems, all right, and make it solely, digital, and all of their customers interact with them on a solely, digital level, all right. And they have a report that they used to release every year, and they would update you in regards to where that aim, where that ambition, currently stands, all right. And they would actually have like a PDF document that you can download, and they would actually go into, for example, Mexico, where they're at, with digitization. They'll go into India, where they're at, and how long it's going to take, so on and so forth. So they've got, heavy statistics going into this information, going into how people are using their cash, how people are using Apple Pay and Android Pay, so on and so forth, and how cash is steadily declining. All right. There's serious think tanks that are dedicated into monitoring and going into that information. All right, because it's very important in regards to the MOTB system that they're trying to push out there. All right, so there's a lot of work going into the manifestation of this CHIP. All right, so that's not something that's to be slept on. That's biblical prophecy coming to pass right before your eyes. And if you think our videos are boring because we constantly go into this information, we're going into it for a reason, all right? Because it all leads to biblical prophecy. It all leads to the manifestation of the MOTB, which is going to be mandatory. And if you don't have it, you're not going to be able to function on the grid. You're not going to be able to function in Esau Edom society. All right. So we have to warn you about these things that are about to manifest upon the earth. Okay. That's our job as prophets of Yahweh Shem Yahushai, is to warn you of these things, as pursuant to Ezekiel chapter 3 and verse 17. All right. So again, it says, almost half of the world today struggles to meet their basic needs, as the rest of the world is quickly digitizing. Remote communities are left behind. They are largely invisible, with no digital identity, no data records, and in many cases, inconsistent connectivity or electricity. For those servicing this segment, these challenges lead to solutions that are often manual, inefficient, and expensive to implement and sustain. To address these challenges, we created Community Pass, a digital infrastructure that connects even the most remote communities to governments, NGOs, and the private sector. All right. So this Community Pass system is designed to create a method, all right, of recognition for even the most remote communities to interact with governments, NGOs, and the private sector. So that's the purpose that this technology, this new platform that they've created actually serves, is to integrate, your digital identity with the government and with, these private sectors. All right. So you can be visible. All right. Because ultimately what's going to happen if you don't have, the MOTB, if you don't have that CHIP embedded, in you, you're going to be invisible on the grid. You're not going to be able to function on the grid. You're not going to be able to buy or sell on the grid as it outlines in Revelations 13 and 16. All right. So let's get that, right quick. All right. Because we're living in some very, very revealing times right now concerning biblical prophecy, man. All right. And this is indeed a beautiful time to be alive. All right. It's a beautiful time to be alive, especially if you're tuned in to biblical prophecy. All right. And you know what's going on through the Spirit. Now, this is Revelations. We'll get straight to the point. This is Revelation chapter 13 and verse 16. And it reads, "And he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark." And when you go into that word mark in the Greek, all right, it goes into a charagma, all right, which is an incision, a cutting in the flesh, all right. And it says in their right hand or in their foreheads, okay. So that's talking about that digital device that's going to be impaled, all right, in your hand or in your forehead, okay. And that's going to serve, as your identification. That's going to serve as your means of payment. That's going to serve as your means of operating on the grid. All right. That's going to serve as your means of being identified wherever you go, being able to work, being able to go to the supermarket. That's what you're going to need. Okay. And with all this madness, that's going on, over there in the chosen land. All right. You don't know what's going to happen in these last days, all right? Because I've done a video yesterday in regards to, we have to be wise, in these last days, and we have to be circumspect, as it outlines in Ephesians chapter 5 and verse 15, because, they could pursue, with these false flags, all right, T attacks, so on and so forth, and all of a sudden, before you know it, they could introduce, this system, all right, where you're going to need to be impelled in order to prove who you are and to identify yourself, all right? And if not, you're going to be public enemy number one, all right? So there's going to be certain measures, that are going to be put in place in Esau Edom's system, all right, in his kingdom, that's going to separate those that are down with the beast system from those that are not, all right? And the elect of Yahweh Shem Yahushai, by default, are not going to be down with the system. And therefore, we are going to be demonized, all right? So that's why it's very important for us to keep our eyes on what's happening, in the Middle East, as the apostles always, have told us, keep your eyes on the Middle East. Keep your eyes on what's happening concerning those key nations, all right? And it says, and that no man might buy or sell save he that had the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name, all right? So again, you're not going to be able to buy, you're not going to be able to sell if you don't have that mark, if you don't have that charagma, okay? You're not going to be able to function on Esau's grid. So that is actually going to come to pass, all right? That is going to come to pass, man. Now let me go back to that article. Now it says, Community Pass transforms service delivery in remote communities and increases access to services for those who are excluded today. Community Pass provides an interoperable infrastructure based on a common digital identity and shared tools, reducing costs associated with reaching undeserved communities. All right? So they want to CHIP as much people as possible. All right? This is what this is all about. They want to CHIP as much people as possible, all right, throughout the four corners of the globe, especially, those that are dwelling, in these cities and round about. They want to account for everyone, all right? They want to know everything about you. They want to know, all right, because that, this technology goes deep, all right? Because ultimately they want to know everything about you, about your person. They want to know, what ailments or diseases you might have in your body at any given time, all right? That's why they have also CHIPs that they call biolabs, all right? So it actually monitors in real time what's happening in your body and what kind of ailments and diseases that you're susceptible to, all right? And before they can manifest and progress, in their eyes, they could summon you, to come to a particular facility, and they can treat you before it gets worse. All right, whatever dwells within you. All right, that's how deep this technology actually goes. All right, and that's the selling point, that they be pushing for people to advocate for this technology, is that it's going to help you, is that it's going to be convenient. Okay. So there's many different agendas, happening simultaneously regarding this tech. All right. Now, there's another section I wanted to briefly read. It says, for more information on the Community Pass platform, including case studies and platform capabilities, visit the developer zone. All right, so the next thing I want to go to is this video that gives you a brief explanation on this Mastercard Community Pass, and there's a few interesting things that are mentioned in this video. So let me play this right quick. I'm not going to play the whole thing throughout, but I'm just going to skip, to certain parts.
Isaac is a smallholder farmer in Uganda. He wants to do his best for his family by increasing the income from his crops. Then he can pay for his children's education and support his village. Isaac would like to know how he can respond to unforeseen expenses or emergencies. But today, Isaac is invisible to service providers who want to reach.
Now, even concerning, the crops and farmers, so on and so forth, who's buying up, all of the land in America, all right? Now, these elites, they want to own all the land. As their slogan goes, you will own nothing and you will be happy. So ultimately, that's their desired goal, is that you as the people own nothing, and you're happy, with owning nothing, because they're going to give you, a universal, basic income for you to survive off of. All right. So you're not going to be the ones that are farming and owning the land. All right. You're going to be the slaves that are just giving, a flat rate, a sum, on a monthly basis, to sustain yourself. Why not owning, any true assets or anything of real value? You're just going to have your digitized tokens to live off of, all right? And your social credit score system that you have to make sure, stays at a healthy level if you want to function. So that's ultimately, what's going to be happening with that, all right?
Reach him. He may be eligible for government benefits, but has no easy way.
And by the way, I had another article here. This is from the People's Voice.tv. Now it says Bill Gates appointed major stakeholder of global digital ID system. Now, apparently, I don't know how true this is, but apparently, the gates of hell actually has, a huge stake in this community pass system, all right, which is of no surprise at all. So it just shows you how all of these systems, all linked. All right, the gates of hell, the WEF, the WHO, all right, all of these agendas and, different enterprises that go by different names, they're all linked and they all have the same New World Order agenda, all right? So it says here, Mastercard and the Gates Foundation have joined forces to launch Community Pass. All citizens of the world will be required to carry one if they wish to participate in society. The pass will be linked to a social credit score which will increase or decrease depending on how compliant you are, all right? So we all know, all right, that that's also going to be linked to what? The MOTB, all right? That digital device that's going to be impaled in your body, all right? So this is happening, all right? These things are happening through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai. Now, even when you go into the definition of the word community, it says a group of people living in the same place or having a particular characteristic in common. And what's that, characteristic that these people in that particular community upon that grid is going to have in common? All right, they're all going to have, that MOTB. They're all going to have that device impaled in their body. All right, those that have succumbed, to the pressure of the system, all right, and to the, if you will, the personal sanctions, that that's going to be put on you for not having the MOTB, all right? Those are going to cast away their integrity and they're going to sell out, to the B system, man, all right? Now it says a particular area or place considered together with its inhabitants, all right? There was another one, a body of nations or states unified by common interests. And remember, this is a global effort, all right? Even though, you see you have different nations, because, as the scriptures say, a nation, divided, cannot stand, all right? Not a nation divided. As the scripture says, if Satan be divided against Satan, how shall his kingdom stand? All right, Salakia. Now, even though, these nations are divided, when it comes to the New World Order system, they are very much, agreeable. All right, they all have the same agenda to have complete control, all right, over their people in their desired nations, all right? And they all have the same common interest that this has got to be done, via this particular technology, all right? So they have that all in common, all right? They all want to CHIP their citizens, all right? They're all going to be aligned to getting down, with that system of control, all right? So let's go back to this video.
Of accessing them. His local bank is unwilling to lend Isaac money or to invest in his business because there is no digital record of him, and Isaac has little control.
All right, so because this independent farmer didn't have, a digital record of himself, he wasn't on the system, no banks are looking to loan him any money. All right, you're basically invisible on the grid, you're invisible on the system, you cannot be trusted. All right, so you're not able to access the benefits of being a part of the grid. All right, because you don't have a digital representation for yourself. It's all about that digital representation. All right, and furthermore, it's all going to be about who's got the CHIP and who hasn't. So anyone that hasn't, you can't be trusted. You can't have access to your supermarket. You can't have access, to a national insurance number. You can't have access, to these things that the system offers because you're not integrated onto the system's grid. Okay? So you're going to be ineligible.
Over how much he is paid for his crops and when. But there is a solution. Community Pass, powered by Mastercard. Isaac's farmer group is part of the Community Pass ecosystem, and they enroll him. He consents to add his relevant information into a secure application and register his biometrics. He then receives a Community Pass card.
What did it show you? They showed the hand.
He consents to add his relevant information into a secure application and register his biometrics.
And he registers his biometrics, man. Okay, your body information. All right, now they deal with, fingerprints. You got the Amazon Palm device. All right, but they're going to take this a step further, and it's going to be straight, scanning, that CHIP in your hand. That's the end stage of identification in Esau's world, is scanning your hand, okay? Because you're going to have that device in your hand.
He then receives a Community Pass card. The farmer group agent explains to Isaac that his biometric information is secure. This information is not stored anywhere, and each time he uses his Community Pass card to access any service, he will be asked for his biometrics so that no...
And we all know that cards are played out, man. Cards are played out. Using your phone is played out. Everything is going to advance to having it in your actual person, all right, on your person, in your hand, so you can just scan and go. All right, that's where it's going, man. All right, so let's get right quick. 2 Corinthians chapter 2 and verse 11. All right, I didn't want this to be too long, but it is what it is, man. 2 Corinthians chapter 2 and verse 11, and it reads, "Lest Satan should get an advantage of us, for we are not ignorant of his devices." All right, you know what? I want to read that in the NLT. Let's get the NLT version as well. All right, because it's very edifying. All right, 2 Corinthians 2 and verse 11. "Lest Satan should get an advantage of us, for we are not ignorant of his devices." And the NLT version says, "So that Satan will not outsmart us, for we are familiar with his evil schemes." All right, so this community pass system, this is just another evil scheme, of Esau Edom that's going to lead to the manifestation, all right, of the CHIP, of the MOTB. That's where it's all leading to, man. All roads are leading to the manifestation of the MOTB, the Revelations 13 and 16, as we read, in the beginning of the lesson. All right, that's where it's all heading to. That's where this craft, is going to lead, man. All right. So, with that, Lord willing, this brief lesson was edifying. And until the next time, I'll say shalom.